March 7, 1947. Warsaw's Palace of Justice. 0500 hours. Josef Meisinger stands on the trapdoor. The man they called the Butcher of Warsaw, rope measured. Hands bound. No hood. The Polish court wants him to see it coming. American prosecutors watch from the gallery. British intelligence officers document every second. Soviet observers stand silent. They've all read the evidence. 1,700 Polish leaders murdered. Professors, priests, Olympic champions, senators, all executed in a forest outside Warsaw. Meisinger's neck will snap in 12 seconds. But this execution starts 3 years earlier when Polish Red Cross teams found 24 mass graves. When American war crimes investigators matched truck logs to murder dates. When testimonies from Pawiak Prison survivors reached Allied intelligence. The trap drops at 0515. This is how the Allies delivered justice to the architects of Palmyra. November 1945. Nuremberg, the Palace of Justice. American prosecutor Robert Jackson holds a leather folder. Inside, 15 pages of evidence about Palmyra Forest. Truck manifests, execution logs, photographs stolen by Polish underground. Hans Frank's own diary, 1,400 pages of self-incrimination. Frank sits in the dock. Former Governor-General of occupied Poland. The man who wrote on December 14, 1943, "If we did not have Warsaw in the general government, 4/5 of our difficulties would not exist." Jackson knows Frank won't escape. The evidence is absolute. But Frank is just one head of the Hydra. In Warsaw, Polish prosecutors prepare their own trials. They have names. Josef Meisinger, SS Standartenführer, Gestapo chief. Ludwig Fischer, Warsaw District Governor. Paul Motor, except Motor died on the Eastern Front in February 1942. A Soviet shell saved the Allies the rope. The American evidence teams have done their work. Office of Strategic Services OSS operatives spent months gathering testimonies. They found the truck drivers, the grave diggers, the foresters who mapped execution sites while Germans weren't watching. Captain James Whitman, U.S. Army Intelligence, reviews the transport logs. 358 victims in just 2 days, June 20th and 21st, 1940. The trucks left Pawiak Prison at 0400. By 0800, all were dead in Palmyra's clearings. The numbers stagger even hardened investigators. December 3, 1945. Warsaw, Polish Red Cross headquarters. Dr. Kazimierz Godlowski spreads photographs across the table. 24 mass graves. 2,115 bodies exhumed. 577 identified by name. American Liaison Officer Major Thomas Bryant examines the images. Bodies layered like cordwood. Hands tied with telephone wire. Blindfolds still covering skulls. Bullet entry wounds back of the head, execution style. "Your forensics teams did exceptional work," Bryant says. Godlowski points to grave number 7. Maciej Rataj, Speaker of our Parliament. Executed June 21, 1940. Next photo. Janusz Kusasinski, our Olympic gold medalist from Los Angeles, 1932. 10,000-meter run. Shot June 21. The evidence includes German documents captured by Soviet forces. Operational orders signed by Meisinger. Transport authorizations from Fischer. Frank's gubernatorial decrees targeting the Polish leadership element. British intelligence contributes intercepted communications. Orders from Berlin to Warsaw. Extraordinary pacification action. Außerordentliche Befriedungsaktion. AB action for short. Eliminate Polish intelligentsia before they organize resistance. The Polish underground preserved everything. Adam Herbansky, a forester, marked trees near graves with coded notches. His maps, smuggled to London in 1941, now serve as evidence. Major Bryant cables Washington. Palmyra evidence ironclad. Recommend full prosecution support. The response arrives within hours. Proceed with maximum cooperation. Justice Department authorizes all resources. The Allies want these executions public. Filmed. Documented. A message to the world about the price of genocide. January 15, 1946. Nuremberg. Interrogation Room 3. Hans Frank faces American interrogator Colonel William Foster. Between them, Frank's diary, marked at 73 pages discussing Warsaw operations. You wrote this on January 25, 1940, Foster reads. The Polish intelligentsia must be eliminated. This sounds cruel, but it is the law of life. Frank shifts in his chair. I was following Reich policy. Foster turns to another marked page. March 2, 1940. You personally approved expanding Palmyra operations. Your signature. The evidence chain is unbreakable. Transport logs from Pawiak Prison to Palmyra. Fuel requisitions for the trucks. Ammunition requests 9mm, 4 Walther P38 pistols. The execution weapon of choice. In Warsaw, Meisinger's trial proceeds simultaneously. Polish prosecutor Jerzy Sawicki presents testimony from Pawiak guards who defected. They describe Meisinger personally selecting victims. Professors pulled from cells at midnight. Priests taken during morning prayers. One guard, Stefan Kowalski, testifies. Meisinger kept lists. He called them his leadership tallies. Every name crossed off was another blow to Polish resistance. The British contribute radio intercepts from 1940. Meisinger reporting to Berlin. 358 leadership elements eliminated in two-day operation. Warsaw pacification proceeding efficiently. American intelligence adds the final piece recovered SS payment records. Execution bonuses paid to Ordnungspolizei units. 50 Reichsmarks per successful pacification action. Colonel Foster closes the interrogation. The gallows await. Herr Frank. Frank's jaw tightens. He knows Foster speaks truth. November 10, 1945. Palmyra Forest. 21 kilometers northwest of Warsaw. Polish Red Cross teams work grid by grid. American advisors from Graves Registration Service supervise. British forensic experts document each layer. The first skull emerges at 0700. Then another. Then dozens. The forest floor gives up its secrets. 2,115 bodies across 1.5 square kilometers. Major Bryant watches Polish technicians catalog evidence. A rosary here. A wedding ring there. University identification cards. Parliament passes. Press credentials. Poland's leadership class. Buried in mass graves 30 meters long, 3 meters deep. The perpetrators thought they'd hidden everything. Planted pine saplings over graves. Spread moss and needles. Posted signs. Ammunition depot no entry. They didn't count on Adam Herbansky. The Polish forester marked every grave between 1939 and 1941. Metal casings driven into trees. Rocks arranged in patterns. A map of murder hidden in plain sight. Captain Whitman examines execution site number 12. How many here? 89. Herbansky replies. March 17, 1940. I watched the trucks arrive at dawn. The evidence extends beyond bodies. Shell casings 9mm parabellum. German manufacture Gecko head stamps. 2,300 casings recovered. 1 per victim plus insurance shots. Dr. Godlowski performs forensic reconstruction. Entry wounds prove execution methodology. Victims forced to kneel at grave edges. Single shots to the medulla oblongata. Death instantaneous when the shooters aimed correctly. Some skulls show multiple wounds. The executioners missed. Victims died slowly, buried alive under the next layer of bodies. This evidence will hang Meisinger. Testimonies from Pawiak Prison. February 1946. Warsaw District Court. Stanislaw Dubicki takes the stand. Pawiak survivor, cell block 7. His testimony, translated for American observers, chills the courtroom. Meisinger arrived every Tuesday. We called it Selection Day. He walked the corridors with lists. Names called meant Palmyra. The prosecutor presents transport logs. June 20th, 1940, 3 trucks, 120 prisoners. June 21st, 3 trucks, 238 prisoners. Departure time, always 0400. Return time, 0800. Trucks returned empty except for personal effects to maintain the deportation fiction. Dubicki continues, they told families prisoners were transferred to Germany for labor. Meisinger even had guards return identity documents stamped, relocated. The families didn't know their loved ones lay in forest graves 2 hours after leaving Pawiak. American intelligence officer Captain Sarah Morrison documents every word. Her report will reach the Pentagon within days. Title: Systematic Elimination Methodology Warsaw Operations. The court presents Meisinger's operational records, captured by Soviet forces at Gestapo headquarters, 25 Succa Avenue. Execution lists typed on letterhead. Meisinger's signature on every page. June 20th list includes Ratai, Mache Parliament Speaker Priority Elimination. June 21st, Kusasinski, Janusz Olympic Athlete Public Figure Eliminate. The lists categorize victims, politicians, professors, priests, journalists, anyone who might organize resistance, anyone who might preserve Polish culture, anyone who might remember. Witness after witness describes Meisinger's efficiency. No appeals, no trials. Selection meant death. British prosecutor Sir Hartley Shawcross, observing for the Crown, Cables London. Evidence surpasses Catton in methodical documentation. The noose tightens around Meisinger's neck. March 1st, 1946. Evidence presentation continues. Polish prosecutor Sawicki unveils the killing system's logistics. Maps, timetables, fuel logs, a bureaucracy of murder, documented in triplicate. The trucks, Mercedes-Benz L3000. Payload, 40 prisoners per vehicle. Route, Pawiak to Palmyry via Mlociny, 21 kilometers. Fuel consumption, 12 liters per trip. All documented in Wehrmacht Transport Command records. The executioners, Ordnungspolizei Battalion 316. 1st SS Totenkopf Cavalry Regiment, Standarte 1. Gestapo Section 4B, Warsaw. 3 units, 1 purpose industrial-scale killing. Captain Morrison calculates the efficiency. 358 executions in 48 hours. 7.4 victims per hour. 1 every 8 minutes. The ammunition, 9mm Parabellum, manufactured at Deutsche Waffen- und Munitionsfabriken, Berlin. Lot numbers traced to specific shipments. October 1939, 10,000 rounds shipped to Warsaw Gestapo. By July 1941, 43,000 rounds expended. The grave preparation, Reich Labor Service RAD conscripts, Hitler Youth Auxiliaries. Digging started December 1939. 24 sites prepared. Dimensions standardized, 30 meters long, 3 meters deep, 2.5 meters wide. Capacity, 100 bodies per grave. Soviet evidence adds another layer. Aerial reconnaissance photos from 1944 show Palmyry's clearings. Fresh earth visible despite camouflage attempts. Soviet intelligence marked these sites for investigation delivered to Polish authorities September 1944. The Allied prosecutors build their case brick by brick. Every bullet traced, every truck trip logged, every grave mapped. Meisinger's defense attorney attempts to claim ignorance. Sawicki produces Meisinger's own reports to Berlin. Signature authenticated by American handwriting experts. Industrial murder requires industrial evidence. The Allies have both. American correspondent Edward Murrow arrives in Warsaw, March 15, 1946. His broadcast will reach 30 million Americans. This is Edward Murrow reporting from Palmyry Forest, Poland. Behind me, 24 mass graves, 2,115 bodies. Poland's intellectual leadership, murdered between 1939 and 1941. He interviews Major Bryant. What makes Palmyry different from other atrocities? Documentation, Bryant replies. The Germans recorded everything. We have transport logs, execution lists, even overtime payments to executioners. They treated genocide like a business operation. Murrow's microphone captures the exhumation. Shovels scraping earth. Bones emerging. Polish technicians calling out evidence numbers. Skull 287. Male. Age approximately 40. Single gunshot. Occipital region. The broadcast includes testimony from Adam Herbansky. Speaking through an interpreter. I marked every grave. The Germans threatened death for witnesses. But someone had to remember. British Path News films the evidence. Blindfolds. Tied hands. Bullets still lodged in skulls. The footage will play in Allied theaters. Title: Polish Intelligentsia Massacre Evidence for Nuremberg. Soviet cameras document parallel proceedings. Their footage emphasizes the systematic nature industrial genocide before industrial killing reached Auschwitz's scale. French journalists from Le Figaro interview survivors. Their headline: Palmyre, the rehearsal for Holocaust. The world watches as evidence mounts. 24 graves become 24 indictments. 2,115 bodies become 2,115 counts of murder. International pressure builds. The Allies must deliver justice. The world demands it. Poland requires it. The dead deserve it. Classified until now Polish Home Army Intelligence. Delivered to London 1941. Captain Witold Pilecki's network documented everything. Agents inside Pawiak. Contacts in the motor pool. Even a source in Gestapo headquarters, a Polish cleaning woman who photographed documents. March 20th, 1946. These documents surface at trial. American OSS authenticators verify the intelligence trail. From Warsaw to London via Stockholm. Microfilm hidden in hollowed books. Couriers risking death at every checkpoint. The underground's evidence includes photographs. Blurry but damning. Trucks at Palmyre. Execution squads in formation. Meisinger himself inspecting graves. Taken with a hidden Leica. Lens no bigger than a button. British Special Operations Executive SOE confirms receipt dates. June 30th, 1941. Package received. Polish intelligence confirms mass executions. Coordinates provided. The underground didn't just document, they counted. Every truck leaving Pawiak. Every victim identified possible. Names compiled, smuggled out monthly. By August 1941, they'd confirmed 1,200 deaths at Palmyre. One report, dated July 15, 1940, describes the execution method. Victims transported in covered trucks, told they're being relocated. At forest, forced to strip valuables. Lined at grave edge. Single shots, back of head. Bodies fall forward into pit. This intelligence reached Churchill's desk. Roosevelt saw summaries. Stalin received copies through Soviet networks. The Allies knew about Palmyre while it happened. Now they can prove it happened. The prosecution rests. The evidence overwhelming. The verdict inevitable. The sentence death. October 15, 1946. Nuremberg. Final sessions. Hans Frank faces the International Military Tribunal. 8 hours of evidence about Poland. Palmyre features prominently. American prosecutor Thomas Dodd reads from Frank's diary. December 16, 1940. Frank writes, "The Poles shall be the slaves of the Greater German Reich." The tribunal examines Palmyre evidence. Execution orders bearing Frank's authority. Governor-General decrees enabling mass arrests. Authorization for special treatment. Sonderbehandlung, the Nazi euphemism for murder. British prosecutor Shawcross addresses the court. Frank administered a territory where 2,115 Polish leaders were machine-gunned into pits. His signature enabled every execution. Soviet prosecutor Roman Rudenko adds evidence from Extraordinary State Commission investigations. Mass graves documented across Poland. Palmyre just one of many killing sites under Frank's jurisdiction. Frank's defense collapses. His own diary convicts him. October 1, 1946. Guilty. Crimes against humanity. Va crimis. Sentence. Death by hanging. In Warsaw, Meisinger's trial proceeds parallel. Polish Supreme National Tribunal. 3 judges. No jury. The evidence needs no interpretation. Prosecutor Sawicki presents the case methodically.
Transport log, Meisinger's signature.
Execution lists. Meisinger's handwriting. Survivor testimonies. Meisinger selecting victims personally. The American Observer's cable Washington. Polish trial exceeding Nuremberg in detail. Every victim named. Every bullet accounted. Meisinger attempts defense through subordination following orders. Sawicki produces Meisinger's innovations. Extended execution hours. Increased daily quotas. Efficiency improvements he personally implemented. The butcher refined his craft. Now he faces the consequences. March 5, 1947. Warsaw Supreme Court. Chief Judge Alexander Ryklinski reads the verdict. The courtroom packed. American observers. British correspondents. Soviet officials. Polish survivors. Josef Meisinger. Guilty. 1,700 counts of murder. Crimes against humanity. Genocide of Polish intelligentsia. Meisinger stands rigid. SS training holds no emotion visible. Ludwig Fischer. Guilty. Authorizing mass executions. Administrative apparatus of genocide. The evidence presented insurmountable. 2,300 shell casings. 2,115 bodies. 577 identified victims. Every number a nail in their coffins. Judge Ryklinski continues. The systematic elimination of Polish leadership constituted genocide. The defendants targeted professors, priests, politicians, athletes, artists, anyone who embodied Polish culture. This was not war. This was extermination. The sentence: death by hanging. Execution within 48 hours. No appeal. American Observer Colonel Foster cables the Pentagon. Polish justice swift and thorough. Executions will proceed March 7th. The preparation begins immediately. Gallows constructed in Mokoto prison courtyard. Rope tested 13 coils, British manufacture. Drop calculated 5 feet 8 inches for Meisinger, 6 feet for Fischer. Instant cervical dislocation intended. Polish authorities invite Allied observers. This execution must be witnessed, documented, remembered. The international press receives notification. Execution time: 05:15 hours. Photography permitted. The world will see justice delivered. Meisinger requests last meal declined. Fischer requests priest granted. Polish mercy extends even to butchers. The countdown begins. 36 hours until the trap drops. March 7th, 1947. 0400 hours. Mokoto prison. Meisinger's cell. The Butcher of Warsaw sits on his bunk. No sleep. Guards observe every 15 minutes. Suicide watch. The Poles want him alive for the rope. 0430. The walk begins. Meisinger in prison graze. Hands cuffed behind. 2 guards flanking. Catholic chaplain Father Josef Zarnecki follows. Even monsters receive last rites. The courtyard. Floodlights illuminate twin gallows. American photographer from Life magazine positions his camera. British Path News rolls film. Soviet observers stand at attention. 0500. Meisinger mounts the scaffold. 13 steps. The trap door beneath. The rope waiting. Polish executioner Franciszek Pakulski checks equipment. Professional. Efficient. He learned his trade from British instructors. Albert Pierrepoint himself advised on drop calculations. The charges read aloud. 1,700 counts take 12 minutes to recite. Names of identified victims.
Maciej Rataj. Janusz Kusociński.
The roll call of the dead. Meisinger refuses blindfold. Refuses last words. SS to the end. 0514. The lever pulled. The trap opens. Meisinger drops 5 feet 8 inches. Cervical vertebrae C2 and C3 separate instantly. Death in 12 seconds. The Butcher of Warsaw butchered by gravity and hemp. Fischer follows at 0530. Same process, same result. Justice delivered with mechanical precision. American observer Major Bryant records, executions completed without incident. Polish authorities demonstrated complete professionalism. Justice served. The bodies hang 1 hour. Protocol requires confirmation of death. Then cut down. Buried in unmarked graves. Location classified.
No martyrdom permitted.
March 8, 1947. Headlines worldwide. Nazi butcher hanged, New York Times. Polish justice delivered, London Telegraph. Palmyra avenged, Warsaw Daily. Edward Murrow broadcasts from Warsaw. Yesterday morning, the architects of Palmyra paid the ultimate price. 2 men hanged. 1,700 victims avenged. Justice moves slowly but arrives certainly. The executions trigger broader reckonings. Allied war crimes investigators intensify efforts. More trials scheduled. More gallows built. The Palmyra evidence sets precedents, meticulous documentation ensures convictions. But gaps remain. Paul Motor dead on Eastern Front, February 1942. Soviet records confirm. Artillery strike, Demyansk pocket. Hundreds of Ordnungspolizei executioners vanished into post-war chaos. Name changes. False papers. South American escapes. The Polish government transforms Palmyra into memorial. The forest clearings become cemetery. 2,115 graves marked. Monument erected. Here lie Polish patriots murdered by Nazi occupiers. American intelligence continues tracking. Operation Paperclip screens every German scientist. Palmyra perpetrators automatically rejected. No immunity for genocide participants. The Palmyra trials influence international law. Genocide codification at United Nations references Polish evidence. Nuremberg principle for following orders defense invalid strengthened by Meisinger's conviction. Dr. Godlowski publishes forensic findings. Palmyra exhumations. Evidence of systematic genocide, standard reference for war crimes investigators worldwide. The numbers remain staggering. 6 million Polish citizens dead total. Palmyra's 1,700, just 0.03%. Yet these executions targeted specifically Poland's future, its teachers, leaders, thinkers. Poland lost 20% of its population. But at Palmyra, it lost something unquantifiable: generations of leadership, eliminated in forest clearings. Justice came, but restoration impossible. October 3, 2025. Palmyra Museum. Present day. The forest stands quiet. Pine trees 85 years old now tower over memorial stones. Visitors walk paths where trucks once delivered victims. Silence where gunshots echoed. The museum displays evidence. Bullets in glass cases. Blindfolds behind climate-controlled panels. The original forest markers, Adam Herbansky's coded trees preserved as monuments to resistance. Transport logs under spotlights.
Meisinger signature magnifiée.
Frank's diary pages projected on walls. Fisher's authorizations framed like art, the art of systematic murder. A docent leads school groups. Points to execution site 7. Here, June 21, 1940. 358 Polish leaders. For hours. Industrial killing before Auschwitz industrialized it further. The American Embassy maintains memorial plot. Plaque reads, Allied Justice Delivered. March 7, 1947, Fresh Flowers Weekly. The alliance that won the war, that delivered justice, remembered. The evidence room, 2,300 shell casings. Everyone catalogued. 9mm parabellum. German manufacture. Each casing, one life ended. One future erased. The identification wall. 577 photos. Names recovered through forensics. Dental records. Personal effects. Families notified decades late but finally informed. The unmarked graves section. 1,538 victims. Unknown but not forgotten. Numbers where names should be. Anonymity even in death, the final Nazi cruelty. Palmyra proves something essential. Evidence survives. Justice arrives. Memory endures. The executioners thought forest burial meant erasure. They calculated wrong. Every hidden grave became testimony. Every secret execution became evidence. Every murdered leader became a martyr. Palmyra remains, a forest that swallowed Poland's future, a cemetery that proved Nazi guilt, a monument to justice delivered late but certain.